In his economic and philosophic manuscripts, Karl Marx argues that the division of labor in modern industrialized factories produces a kind of alienated labor. The factory worker doing repetitive, low-skill work for hours on end experiences alienation from his product, the act of production, his fellow workers, and ultimately from human nature itself. In this short video, I look at the production of ballet pointe shoes and argue that the production of pointe shoes provides an exception to Marx's theory of alienated labor, especially where alienation from the product and the act of production is concerned. Making pointe shoes, on the surface, is exactly the kind of tiresome factory labor that Marx writes about. Almost all brands of pointe shoes are made by hand in an assembly line type process, the same way they've been made for decades. The work is monotonous, certainly not very prestigious, and requires little mental energy. The factory setting is not glamorous. Workers get paid very little despite the fact that most pointe shoes sell for between $60 and $100 a pair. Big ballet companies invest massive quantities of money in pointe shoes for their female dancers who can go through several pairs in a week.
At the end of the year, we have spent $500,000 easily.
But as one delves deeper into the making process and the complete dependence of the dancer on her pointe shoe maker, Marx's ideas start to unravel. Marx writes that the worker becomes poorer the richer is his production, the more it increases in power and scope, that the more values he creates, the more valueless and worthless he becomes. It's his work that matters, not him. He's replaceable. But the pointe shoemaker, the person who actually crafts the all-important part of the shoe, the box, is absolutely not replaceable. Professional dancers can feel the tiniest difference in their shoes, and custom order shoes from the same maker each time.
Each one of these makers make the shoes for different individuals. And we went to the factory, and when they have these measurements, they have to be very exact. If they cut the shoe wrong, they will know it. The ladies will know it.
At Freed of London, a company that supplies pointe shoes to prestigious ballet companies all over the world, the sole of each shoe bears the mark, a specific letter or symbol, of the maker. Makers who get the most custom orders are considered the most successful.
Going from one maker to another is a huge difference. It can pull you back off of your toes, or it can push you over too far.
Well, I wear maker U. I've worn U for a while now. We have a big love affair, and now he's gone. So I have X amount of shoes left for the rest of my career, so I'm really trying to preserve them as best as I can.
Some dancers send letters of appreciation and even travel to meet their maker and develop a working relationship with them.
I've met quite a few dancers, and they was curious who's made their shoes, as I was curious as who's wearing my shoes.
One retired maker fondly remembers the conversations he had with Mara Galeazzi, the Royal Ballet principal dancer whose shoes he made for years.
Mara used to say to me, I've changed her life forever. Whether it has or not, I don't know, but that's what she always used to say to me.
The relationship between the dancer and her maker, or alternatively the maker and his dancer, is essential for the success of both parties.
At the end of the day, it can affect the dancer's livelihood. And that's one of the things about this job. Every dancer got the confidence to go out in one of my shoes knowing that it's going to hold for that show sort of thing. And then you just build up that sort of relationship with them.
Dancers mourn when their makers eventually retire because, contrary to Marx, pointe shoes do not have a power independent of the producer.
They go through so much, if a maker retires or a maker leaves, it's so stressful to go and find another maker for them.
Marx would also say that the factory laborer knows his product is not his own but someone else's, that it does not belong to him, that he does not belong to himself and his labor but to someone else. But the pointe shoemaker does not relate to the product of his labor as an alien object. Obviously, he's not going to wear his product, but he's familiar enough with the pointe shoe that he can imagine what features he would want in it.
And it's about the block, and the dancer wants to stand on a hard block and she doesn't want it to collapse. If she collapses, she has a bad performance. I think if your shoes are comfortable for them to wear and it looks good, if I was a ballerina, that's what I'd go for anyway,
The maker knows exactly where his shoes will go and who will wear them, and can see the important role he plays in the ballet network.
Without the audience, there would be no dancers. Without the dancers, there wouldn't be no makers. It goes round in a circle. It's just something that are made. It's unlike anything else.
Furthermore, Marx argues that the worker does not confirm himself in his work. He denies himself, feels miserable instead of happy, and deploys no free physical and intellectual energy. But many Pointe shoemakers feel differently. This is a skill, a calling, a specialized task that they can enjoy and take pride in. Not just anyone can do it.
I've been making shoes for 25 years. Yes, it's been good. I enjoyed doing it. It's something different, something unique.
And when I come here, they took a look at my hands, and the manager at the time says, yes, I'm going to make you into a maker. It triggered something inside me, and that I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be good at my job. And well, where I am now on my books and that, I've achieved that, I think.
Shoemaking is more of an art than a routine process, so although the job is paid, the physical energy is more freely deployed than Marx would imagine. In the manufacturing of Pointe shoes, we find an exception to Marx's theory of alienated labor. The relationship between maker and dancer, the vital place of the maker in the ballet world, and the irreplaceability of the maker combine to join the worker together with his product and with the act of production.